about that game. There was no major issues so far, so it looks like we will be going into another game, hopefully as soon as these guys get underway, which should be pretty soon, judging by the fact that the bracket is done and everyone seems to be kind of on top of things in the Twitch chat and that sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like it's sorted out, so it's a little bit unfortunate to have a bracket change. But we'll just go with the flow here and see what we'll go for our... Again, I suppose, what is our first round of eight match? Yeah. We'll just see if we can get a quick update. We'll refresh our bracket. Danz up against ImSoBrad. I reckon we can probably
jump into that one. That should be a good game.
Yeah, I think it probably will be a pretty good game, to be honest.
Yeah.
If we can pick up ImSoBrad as well. And we'll jump into here. We'll try again. Hunter up against what looks like a bit of a rush warlock as well. Wow, 2 Hellfires.
Not what you want to see in your starting hand. Implosion as well, not going to help him out particularly much. Especially, oh no. Undertaker, Coin, Clockwork Golem. The dream is real here for ImSoBrad.
He's played so well all today. Anyone would, in a normal game, you'd accuse him of stacking his deck, but fortunately, you can't manage that one. Mortal Coil not terrible in this situation.
I think you have to Mortal Coil. But he's going to just play this Mad Scientist, and then that Undertaker's going to get buffed a little bit. But luckily for Danz, he's just top-decked an Ironbark Owl, I'm not sure. Ironbeak, I was right the first time. I think you have to play the Owl here as well. I don't think there's really anything else you can go around. The Undertaker's starting to spiral out of control a little bit, unless you kind of want to bait it out a little bit more. But no, you're going for the safer option.
Yeah, going to pull the Unleash the Hound here as well. Knife Juggler, nice to always have. Let's have a look. Stealth onto the Knife Juggler, perhaps. That's what I would do. Get him through till next turn for Unleash the Hound's combination. Hellfire, not terrible here either.
Implosion would be pretty decent as well. But I think if you play the Hellfire and then you can maybe bait out that you don't have another Hellfire in your hand, it could be an interesting situation that we see come out.
We'll see the Explosive Trap is what pops out there as well. There's the second Knife Juggler going to calm down to Hunter Creeper. Hunter Creeper, Haunted Creeper. Haunted Creeper.
Alright, so you probably want to go for an Implosion here onto the Knife Juggler. Get rid of that major bit of board control, I guess. Or Dark Bomb, I guess, going to do the same job. And actually probably using up his mana more effectively that way as well. So not an awful decision at all.
Nah, Dark Bomb's so strong in general.
Yep.
Such a really, really good card.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's essentially Frostbolt, but without the freeze. So, I mean, we know how strong that is.
Yeah, yeah. Let's have a look here. Power Overwhelming, nothing at the moment. Siphon Soul, neither.
Nothing.
Hero Power, I'd be keen to
probably tap.
Tap, see what he can pull out.
Though in the Hunter versus Warlock matchup, you do need to be careful with how much you're tapping because essentially the Hunter is tapping for you as well.
Yeah.
So you're losing 4 HP every turn, which is kind of does stack up quite a lot and kind of can sneak up on you. And even now, he is only on 18 HP, which is kind of getting to the point where you need to start to be worried against the Hunter.
You do definitely. It does get to the point you need to be careful. He's looking at Siphoning Soul. I don't think that's a great idea.
No.
Implosion, probably your solution here. Hope you can pick up at least 2.
Well,
but would you want to swing first to face with your Shade to pop your what is potentially...
No, I don't think so. I think you keep this Shade as a little bit of a trump card later. And he's picked up 3, which is pretty good for him. So they'll be able to trade with those spiders and, Unleash the Hounds.
Yeah.
That would be a good play here.
There'll be 5 1/1s. 6 1/1s for 6 damage. Plus, he also has that
Hero Power,
which will put him on 8, bring it down to 10. Savannah Highmane instead going to use this to clear up the board. I don't know
This is a good situation now for Danz. He can use Power Overwhelming, get rid of that Savannah Highmane if he wants to go for that. And then I guess you probably tap as well, see what you can get, but there is the Hellfire as well if you really need to clear the board.
Yeah. Hellfire probably not your bet. I think power overwhelming onto a 1/1 is probably what you want to do.
Yeah.
He's nope, decided he's just going to swing in and cop that himself. He does have a Siphon Soul theoretically that he could use on the high main, but then you still have to deal with the hyenas that do come forth afterwards. So he's just trying to decide now what is the best play. I don't know if he's going to now use this 4-2 to pick up. Probably not. You
I
could
don't
swing.
think he would.
You'll leave it out there, I suppose. Pump it up to a 5-3.
Yeah.
And end turn. Yeah.
There is also the opportunity that the Dr. Boom comes in here. You hit the Dr. Boom with your Shadow and Exoramus and then Hellfire. Clear the board. And you've got a pretty decent kind of thing, but you will take a lot of damage to the face from those boom bots as well. We'll see what he goes for here.
To the face twisting nether by the looks of things.
Does he go for that?
So those boom bots are going to hit him in the face both times.
Yeah, I think it would have been more efficient to use Hellfire in that situation. But it still gets the job done.
Well, how much did it cost him? It still
8.
cost, yeah.
He would have cost 4 for Hellfire. Then he could have played something else. Could have tapped, or he could have used the Arcane Golem as well. I mean, you do give your opponent an extra mana, but at this point in the game, they pretty much have the mana that they need, especially considering it's a hunter who tends to have low amount of mana costs for their minions.
Yeah. So Dan's starting to find himself at quite a vulnerable HP here. Sludge Belcher going to help him certainly. The other, what has he got? He's got Arcane Golem.
I reckon you probably have to play the Arcane Golem, to be honest, but looks like he's not going to go for that.
Eaglehorn Bow, not a terrible card in this position either. There's the Silence.
This is lethal, is it?
4, 5, 6, 7. And plus your bow.
Is 10.
He's got the mana for it.
Yes, he does. That is lethal. So first game going to be going over to ImSoBrad with that Hunter deck. I don't think we've actually seen the Hunter deck lose today, have we?
It's been very, very solid all the way through.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100% been super solid all day long. So, yeah.
I mean, look, there was a really perfect start there for the Hunter deck. You had the Undertaker and the Death Rattle on turn 1, so that's really hard to come back with.
Yeah.
To come back from. So I don't think you can be too disappointed there if you're Danz. You just had a little bit of bad luck with the first hand, and hopefully we'll be able to come back in the next game. But of course, you can lose another 2 before he's out.
Yeah. So we will be seeing the Hunter deck coming back for the next game. So it's now, what do you pick in return? Now, you can pick anything. You can certainly go Hunter onto Hunter. It's a bit of a coin toss, I suppose.
Yeah, it depends on your mulligan, I think, really.
Yeah. We'll see what these guys are up to. It looks like they're getting into game number 2 right now. So we'll head across. We'll see if we can spectate our other player, ImSoBrad, up against Danz. We'll jump into the game here, and we'll see what we're going to mulligan out.
Did he just keep Tyrion?
He did just.
He
did keep Tyrion.
Interesting decision, because you're not going to be able to use that till at least turn 8. I would have expected you would want to get a few more early game minions that you can get out on the board, because, you know, if you're waiting till turn 8, I don't think it's going to be a good situation for you. But that is a nice top deck. The Shielded Minibot going to be able to trade evenly here with the Clockwork Gnome. I guess you would expect to see a Web Spinner. Do you go Web Spinner or Knife Juggler? I think you probably go Web Spinner. You want to save that Knife Juggler until you can get some sort of value out of it.
Yeah, Knife Juggler is essentially, there's not much, like, it's 3/2 is always, it's not bad value, but, you know, such huge potential value is essentially what is sitting there, I suppose.
Yep.
So the Explosive Trap is going to be drawn here. Not bad at all. Certainly clears up what is left on the board, and he will play that and trade out his Web Spinner. Okay. Or is that King Mukla?
Yeah. See, this is the situation where you want to be doing any sort of card draw before you make any sort of use of your mana, because he potentially could have played King Mukla there. Maybe wouldn't have been the best option, but at least then he would have had that option.
Yeah.
Regardless, now he's made that decision, and I guess he's paid for it a little bit because he gets that extra draw. Danz gets that extra draw off the Acolyte of Pain. But there's not a lot in Danz's hand that can really be put onto the field next turn. On the other hand, we do have ImSoBrad. What is he going to play? He could play Mukla and then a Taunt Trumpet. But deciding to go for Knife Juggler. Is it going to hit the 50-50? No, it's not. I don't think that's a particularly awful situation.
No, it's not terrible, to be fair. We do have a Consecration here, which would clean up the board. There's not huge amounts of... He's starting to fall away here. Starting to lose board presence. He does, however, have a number of cards more in his hand than his opponent does. So it's quite limited here. You potentially use your Iron Beak Owl to stop that extra...
secret.
Yeah, from coming out, but probably not the best use of it.
I think you would Consecrate here because you just clear that board. There's not really another good play for this turn. Next turn is when it's going to really start going more in Danz's favor. He does have Lotheb. Then he's got a nice mana curve into Piloted Sky Golem, Dr. Boom, and then Tyrion. So that's a really strong turn 5, 6, 7, 8.
Wow. Freezing Trap back onto the Acolyte of Pain. 5 mana there, but definitely the opportunity to find that.
Some more card draws.
Yeah, there are definitely far worse cards to get returned to your hand than Acolyte of Pain. We will see the 4-4 with Taunt going to come out here. 5 mana here. Sludge Belcher is an opportunity. Lotheb.
I think Lotheb.
Yeah, Lotheb gets him out there and allows him to clear out the 4-4 potentially next turn. What would you do in response here? Now 6 mana. You have your Shredder, which looks like is going to be the play. We're going to go for face. I think he's got...
Yeah, I think you would go for face.
He's trying to get him down. Again, as we talked about, if you play your Hunter first, and you can, get a... He has had some pretty good RNG in both these games, to be fair. King Mukla's pretty good. The start that he had at the beginning of the previous game was also very good.
Amazing.
Yeah, yep.
I don't know here whether you would want to play the Piloted Sky Golem to try to get a little bit more aggressive, or if you want to go a little bit more defensive, go with the Sludge Belcher. Probably be looking towards that Sludge Belcher. It can clear the Piloted Shredder and the Spider. And of course you can use Lotheb there to clear out the Misha. But it's not making effective use of your mana. You're leaving 1 mana crystal. So it is a decision, but I think here in this situation, I'd probably be going with the Sludge Belcher.
Sludge Belcher is almost always good.
Yeah.
Like if you've got 5 mana only, well, he had 6. But if there aren't that many situations, maybe late game, but Sludge Belcher is such a strong card that it's hard to be able to. You really have to think to be able to justify to play something else, especially in that sort of situation. So Savannah Harmane going to come out here. But we'll see the Sludge Belcher go down. Oh! Okay. Here we go.
This puts a spanner in the works.
Dear.
Next turn, the start of next turn for ImSoBrad, all minions on the field are going to be cleared.
Yeah.
So this is actually really good for him because if Danz doesn't clear that Doomsayer, the board's going to be 2/2s for ImSoBrad.
He can silence it.
He could.
Does he want to?
Does he indeed?
And if you do silence it,
does
do you
he
get rid of the Savannah Highmane?
Does he? I think you silence the Savannah Highmane and let the Doomsayer kill everything. Because then you clear the board completely.
It's not a terrible
There's
situation.
only 2 cards in ImSoBrad's hand.
Where is this silence going?
This silence could be the game if he goes. I don't think you silence the Doomsayer here. I really don't.
Does he want it? He wants... If he plays the Piloted Sky Golem, surely he's expecting it to go with the Doomsayer.
Let's see, here we go. Yes, he's gone Savannah Highmane. I actually really agree with this here. I think that was a very good play. And pretty unlucky from ImSoBrad, but considering he's had run of the luck, the whole series so far.
Yeah.
I think that's fine.
Alright, so he's 2/2 of 5/5. He obviously has Unleash the Hounds in his hand. We have a Quartermaster. I'm pretty sure we do have a muster as well.
I reckon just probably go Tyrion here, really.
Tyrion is fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan, to be honest.
I actually don't own Tyrion, but I think he's probably going to be the next legendary I craft.
You should craft him in gold.
I don't have that amount of dust.
Wow. It's pretty impressive in gold, must admit. So here we go. So he's going to play Juggler into Master for Battle. Okay.
Not a bad decision.
He also has Outdoor
honesty.
Peacekeeper that he can use to bring King Mukla down to a 1-2 as well, if he so desires.
He can play another guy as well.
Yeah.
Okay, now he can't. So he's
And
hoping...
if he takes it, look, there we go.
Wow.
We'll clear. Going to...
He's got to hope this isn't going to be an explosive trap.
Yeah, Explosive Trap would kind of
And
suck.
look at this.
How many Unleash the Hounds are we going to get right now?
5.
Yeah, because this is some really nice value.
What's the trap? Wow.
Just learn to use the mouse there. Explosive trap. Yeah. So this is why he's going straight to the face, because that explosive trap
He's going to
is
cause
going
trouble.
to do quite a bit of damage here. Now, Danz from this probably can go, you know what, I should probably just clear out that board.
Yeah, I think you definitely clear the board. And you don't even really need to use Quartermaster here because they're all 1/1s. And they're going to pretty much die to the explosive trap
But if
anyway.
you were to play a quarter, yeah, I get. No,
you
you're
could
right.
Quartermaster and Banana
Yeah,
and keep them alive, or we could do that.
you could do that.
I think you take the Aldor Peacekeeper into
I don't
Mukla
think that was a good play.
and then clear. He does still have Light's Justice as well.
Yeah.
So he's going to pretty much clear the board. In fact, he can actually clear the board. So I'm actually pretty happy with that. I mean, it's going to be tough for him to come back from this. He really only has like another 2 turns, maybe 3, depending on
He's giving
what.
up his Divine Shield for free as well. He's going to
Yeah.
lose both the guys he's got there. The Eagle Horn Bow is going to proc now. But he's still going to have a 7/7 on the board.
Well, he could use the Banana on the Aldor Peacekeeper to keep it alive.
He could. He could do that.
There's not a lot of options here for ImSoBrad, and this is where Hunter starts
Now,
to fall
right
off.
now, do you play Dr. Boom and then attack and watch your Boomlings go straight to the face?
Okay, best case scenario, you get 8 damage off the Boomlings, the baby booms.
Yeah.
Then that's 7's 15, 18, 21. I don't think you play it because you can't get lethal anyway. I think you just Banana the Aldor Peacekeeper and then go for a Sky Golem after you know what the trap is.
He's looking at the Boom.
He is. It wouldn't be an awful play, to be honest. Like, both will work. Looks like he's going to go this way. Let's see what happens here.
He's going to Banana the Peacekeeper by the looks of it, like you did suggest. No.
Nope.
He just wants Tyrion to be huge.
Oh.
Is he passing?
He's passing. So he's got a feeling that this is the explosive trap. I don't know. Maybe he will go for a Quartermaster here
The Quartermaster really...
on one guy.
Yeah, it doesn't...
Like,
Look
like,
at this. And now, what's he going to do?
yeah.
Wow.
He
Was
is dead.
that his concern originally about not attacking into it, that it was going to...
Well, it doesn't matter now because there's no way he can survive here.
Is that the reason... Did we miss that? Is that the reason he didn't attack originally? He was concerned that he's... What else other damage did he take? Just steady shot?
Yeah, and I mean, that is the situation when you have a Hunter.
Yeah.
But at least he could have got some damage to the face or something. Something, you know, he could have topped out something this turn, but obviously didn't. But he could have. He didn't know that last turn, though. So
yeah.
I guess it's just a unfortunate situation for him that he is not able to do anything with this. He can't pop that Acolyte at all.
Yeah, he really needed to do something to get him that card draw.
Yep.
To do something else. Even
Yeah,
something
lay on
like
hands would be perfect right
Yeah.
now, but not going to happen. I mean, he doesn't know that it's an explosive trap. We do. He could, he could think, oh, maybe I'll be lucky with a frozen trap.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be the case.
Yeah.
Here
And
we
that is
go.
it
That's the game.
Goodbye. So
2-0 now for this Hunter deck. Doesn't look like Danz is particularly pleased with that one.
No, well,
not at all.
No. So that is our second game in the best of 5. So
yeah, one more loss for Danz and he's out.
And Hunter could go all the way here, which is why I suppose we've seen it banned so often today, and why the Druids have run rampant. Really, they don't call them ramp Druid for nothing. There's a good one.
Let's stop already. Stop before we start. So I wonder now what Danz is going to kind of play here in response to this Hunter. I mean, there's not any matchups that are particularly fantastic against that Hunter, I've got to say. Ramp Druid, if you get a decent hand at the start, can go alright. If you get your Sludge Belchers and stuff out early, you can kind of taunt through it, and that looks like the way that he's going to be going for it. So let's see what kind of a starting hand he's going to be able to get here. Wrath is pretty good. I would probably get rid of both the Keeper and the Druid. Just want to get those early kind of innovates in that. Wow, look at that starting hand from ImSoBrad. He can play so many minions on turn 1.
I'm pretty sure he's actually just stacking his deck. I'm pretty sure.
This is crazy.
If you were at a TCG tournament, this guy, you'd be like,
yeah, in real life.
Can we shuffle his deck, cards. Judge, please?
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, I'm not aware of any way that can happen in Hearthstone. So
no, which is a major benefit of this. You watch, for example, some street magicians, and they're absolutely ridiculous at card manipulation. I know there was a situation very recently in Magic the Gathering where a player was consistently moving cards off their opponent's deck and moving them around in an inappropriate fashion, and this player had won.
That's crazy.
Yeah, quite a bit of money over time. So it's definitely something that happens, and definitely a major advantage of playing card games online.
Yeah.
So Brad here in a pretty good position already, forcing...
He's got a Stranglethorn Tiger as well out of that first Web Spinner, and now an Ironbeak Owl. Both really pretty good minions that you'd want to have. I think probably not an awful situation right now for Danz, though. He does have Senjin Shieldmaster, which will probably be the play here you would expect. I guess Keeper of the Grove is not bad either. Can get rid of the 3-2 there, and no one's going to be able to trade it into that. So, yeah, not too bad. He's got the Druid of the Claw as well next turn if he wants a Taunter.
Everyone loves the Druid of the Claw here, but I guess this is why Brad has a gold Hunter Portrait.
Yeah.
Because he does seem to be pretty solid at it indeed. Even if he loses this next game, he still only needs to win one more.
Yeah, he's got a massive
to put
buffer.
him through to the semi-finals, which is also the round of 4. And from there, he only needs to win one more game to pick himself up a G19 keyboard, courtesy of Logitech, who support Cybergamer across multiple games and are supporting us here for Cybergamer Hearthstone today. Now, Dan's here. What are the plays?
I mean, there's obviously Sludge or Druid of the Claw. I think they're really the only two probably viable plays here. You could Wrath the Piloted Sky, the Piloted Shredder rather, but you're not going to get as much mana efficiency out of that. You're not going to be able to make use of that mind control tech at this point either. I think it's probably going to have to go to Sludge Belcher, because it can trade with...
It always goes to Sludge Belcher.
It can trade evenly, and I guess you probably kill that guy there, yeah.
Haunted Creeper going down, not surprisingly seeing 2 1/1s pop out, and... well,
I'd be surprised if 2 1/1s didn't pop out, if I'm honest.
You never know. That's why I said not surprisingly, Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, 4-3, 2 1/1s, 5 mana remaining. He's got a few things here. He does have another Haunted Creeper. He has the Tiger. He has the Explosive Trap. We can also see a bow and an Ironbeak Owl. And also, he's the mech? The little Clockwork Gnome. Yeah, it gives you a spare part. So not terrible either. All cards that aren't really all that bad at this point in the game. No. Cards you definitely want to see early on in the game. Here we go. Eaglehorn Bow. He's going to play that out. I'm not sure if he's going to swing in. Look at that. That's actually pretty good. Oh, wow. That is, you get 2 free damage there.
Yep.
And there you go.
All
Big
right.
Game Hunter of no use. Shieldmaster.
All right. Yeah, it has to be Tazdingo and Wrath, I'm sure.
Can you do the voice?
No. I'm not even going to try. It would be a little embarrassing. Alright, there we go. Is he going to go Hero Power? Oh, he is. So he's saving that Wrath. I guess he doesn't need the card draw at the moment. And probably saving it for if he does need the extra removal as well. So that's probably not an awful decision from him.
Yeah, we'll see what else he's going to play. 6 mana left. I don't mind Animal Companion as a card. It normally turns out pretty well. Going to use up his last attack on that bow without getting down his trap first. But he's going to load up the board here and clear out Tazdingo. So yeah, it's not terrible at all. But
Right.
are we not starting to get to the point here where he's got a lot of late game cards in his hands?
I guess you could be more disappointed with that. Yeah, like this is now the kind of the sort of point where the hunter will start to fall behind, have a little bit of difficulty, because you know, he is pretty low on cards. Gonna get rid of the Leok here. So now the board is looking a lot more favorable for Danz, and of course the hands are as well. And now a dead draw there for ImSoBrad.
Yeah, he hasn't. Surprised he hasn't managed to find himself the time to play one at all throughout this game so far. So he's done it now. It's out there. Going to get 15 damage, which is sorry, get him down to 15 HP, which is really 13 HP.
Yeah.
With the explosive trap.
Right, but there's nothing really in his hand that it can burst anything at all at the moment. So Dan's sitting in a pretty good position. He's got the Ancient of Law as well. Can heal up if he opts to go for that one. I would probably go for a heal here. I don't think you can ever be too careful against a hunter, but card draw, of course, always pretty good as well. On turn 8, though, I would probably be looking at Jewel to the Claw, I guess, and then a Hero Power. It's just the best kind of play that he's got.
Now we're going to see to the face here. No, good idea. He knows that his opponent has a trap, and he just wants to clear out the board without losing all his stuff in the meantime and getting absolutely nothing for it. So
yeah, that's pretty good. That worked out well for him. Eaglehorn Bow not going to be too useful. It'll be alright. He can clear out the board, which is not too bad for him. Probably will use this taunt as well, just because why not?
Yeah.
Though, having said that, if he does taunt it, it's a free kill for the Black Knight.
Yeah, that's true. He's getting his opponent, as we say, down to really that difficult health total, where he can quite easily find himself getting taken down in one turn. There's a number of ways that the hunter can do that to you. But Danz does have a lot of mana. He's got that Ancient of War here, which won't go too poorly, to be honest. It'd probably feel a little bit more comfortable with this one on the board. So it's not a bad play. Owl and Big Owl coming out at probably the perfect time, however. Not too bad. What's he? He's going to hero. Is he trying to get another charge on his? I
think he's trying to bait it out.
Yeah, trying to grab another charge. I think you would attack first.
That's
if you're going to attack.
Explosive trap, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
He
that's going to kind of throw things awry a little bit for ImSoBrad. I think he's probably just going to run out of steam here. I guess it all depends on what the top deck is here for ImSoBrad. 3, 5. Yeah, he's not going to have enough damage no matter what he top decks.
Unleash the Hounds. That's yeah, you could silence 2 damage from that. 3 is 5 plus 2 is 7. Still 5 short. Being only on 13 himself. We have a look. We do have a swipe, and that should be it, should it not?
Well, I guess you have to get through the taunt as well, which your swipe will do that. Fine. So yeah, I think this is actually going to be a win for Danz here. It doesn't look like there's any way out for ImSoBrad at all, which is probably a good situation, I think, because I'm kind of overseeing the hunter win.
Yeah, we were getting over the
hunter domination.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Druid as well. I like Druid decks in general. I like late game decks, so it's always fun to see these sort of games. The taunt will come out, but obviously the taunt doesn't give him any more HP. 4 damage in the form of swipe to the face, 1 damage going through to the Iron Beak Owl.
Yep.
And yeah, he's considering what he should do here, but there's not really left with much at all. That's it.
No. So, I mean, if you wanted to be really BM, you could play the Black Knight. But that's going to be game 3 going to Danz. So now it's 2-1 in the favor of ImSoBrad. Still does have that 2-game buffer, thanks to his impressive Hunter play in the first 2 games. But now he's going to have to go over to a different deck, see what he's got left. He has played some pretty strong Druid today, though.
Yeah.
So I would expect we might be seeing a Druid versus Druid matchup here.
And he is in a pretty good position.
Yep.
He's managed to get himself right up there, 2-1. Only needs to win just 1 more game in this best of 5, and he will find himself in the semi-finals here. Warlock, as we head back into the game, is the pick here. And what do you think of that?
This looking like
handlock by the looks of it. Yeah.
So look, I think it's not an awful play. I think he might be saving his Druid kind of to last. You know, he can take a gamble. I guess he's got a game to play with. Maybe I don't know. Maybe he doesn't even have the Druid in his 5 picks since the swap around. But handlock definitely is still a strong, type of a deck. Good start here, though, for Danz. He's got the coin and wild growth. Is he going to coin it out? I reckon he probably can just skip turn and wild growth on turn 2. I mean, unless he draws into something like a Shade or Naxxramas, then I guess it would be an issue, but we shall see. Does he want to save the coin? How much does he value this coin?
It always feels silly to pass turn 1. You hate passing and not doing anything, but I think in this situation, it's probably the best way to go. We will see that Brad does not have much in the way of early game creatures. You're obviously not going to play your Sun Fury Protector onto nothing. That would be foolish. Sludge Belcher looking good there. Obviously, I think what we'll just see him do is life tap all the way through till the very next turn where he can play his Twilight Drake.
Yep. Or the Mountain Giant.
Ah, that's true.
So yeah, I think that's probably the best play that Danz can make here, the Sludge Belcher. It does leave him with nothing to do on turn 5 unless he top decks something. And he's going to have a little difficulty getting rid of this Mountain Giant, but I think he can probably just go face here maybe. Ooh, Innovate though. What is he going to go here? If he had 1 more mana, a Kel'Thuzad would just be perfect. But unfortunately, that is not to be. I reckon you innovate the Ancient of Law, because then at least if the Mountain Giant goes into the Sludge Belcher, you do have something you can trade into it, and you get the 2-card draw, which he does need at this stage. There's not a lot of minions for him in his hand, anything like that. He's just got the swipes, which are not obviously optimal to play at this point.
Yeah, not swipe time at all at the moment. Sludge Belcher to the face. Ancient Watcher, not terrible at all. I wouldn't mind seeing Ancient Watcher into a bit of tauntage myself next turn around. Not a terrible play, but he certainly has stuff like the Twilight Drake that probably would turn out better, or another Sludge Belcher of his own.
Okay, so Sludge Belcher hovered. Still not locked in just yet. I mean, Twilight Drake wouldn't be a terrible play here either.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe he's concerned, being on 23 HP, that he doesn't want to take too much damage to the face next time around.
Right.
Sylvanas here? Yeah, okay.
Or do you swipe and...
You could definitely swipe.
And Wrath? I think maybe you swipe the Sludge Belcher. And then use the 1/2 to kill it. And then use Ancient of Law to kill the slime. And then you have Wrath to kill... Oh no, you still don't. You still don't have the damage. So... What's he going to do? He's going to silence this guy here. Right, that's not a bad choice there either, actually.
Yeah, it's actually a really nice use of the Silent Sludge Belcher.
Yeah.
Yeah, normally pretty good. But I guess the thing to keep in mind is that there is so many things in a handlock deck that you would want to silence.
Yeah.
And half of those things are in Brad's hand right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shadow Flame. That is a really strong spell. Not at the moment, but it can win you games.
I love Shadow Flame and Ancient Watcher, to be honest.
It's quite strong.
So we will see the Drake coming out. Ancient Watcher looks like he's going to pop out as well. Perhaps setting up next turn to taunt those both up, which would probably work out really well for ImSoBrad here.
I imagine that would be the case.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot of board clear here available now for Danz. He does have Sylvanas, but I think at this point, ImSoBrad can kind of just ignore the Sylvanas. It's going to take 2 turns for Danz to proc it because of, it's got 5 health, so he doesn't have anything that can deal damage to it, and all these guys have less than 5 damage on the other team. So what's coming out here? Nourish, he's kind of trying to stall this game out now. Nourish is a very slow play.
2 mana left. There's not any great plays here, are there?
Nothing immediately jumping out. You could Wrath the Ancient Watcher and then kill it with Keeper of the Grove, and that looks like what's going to happen. But it would feel pretty bad to be running a Keeper of the Grove into a Ancient Watcher that isn't even, doing anything at the moment. But at least he gets it off the board.
Yeah. But the board is very much in Brad's favour here. Going to life tap down to 19 HP. Not a bad card for 3 costs. We will see the Sun Fury Protector coming out, putting Taunt back onto our Sludge Belcher and onto our 4/9 Twilight Drake. A couple of hits to the face, and he's starting to regain control here.
Yep.
But there are a lot of nice big drops for Danz, but I don't know if he's going to have the opportunity to use them. Yeah,
just needs to get over the next, probably the next mana, next turn is going to be important for him. I think maybe you drop Can Bloodhoof here and Wrath the Sun Fury Protector. Or you could, of course, swipe the Sludge Belcher. We'll have to see what he decides to go for. Here, I really think you would... I probably would have gone for a Can Bloodhoof and Wrath, but the 5/10 is going to be quite strong here as well.
Until he gets Iron Big Down.
Until he gets silenced.
Yeah.
Though, having said that,
3 damage. We will see 2/3 going to take out in return. Nice lot of 7 damage. Farseer probably... I don't think he would go straight healing himself up.
I think you may as well just play it.
I guess the only thing to keep in mind is he does have...
Molten Giants.
Yeah, 2 Molten Giants in hand. So he's going to actually heal up Sludge Belt for a whole +1.
Yeah.
Not huge value, but 3/3 on the board, using up the rest of his mana there. Not taking any more damage from a tap. He doesn't have card advantage. He does have Alexstrasza, however. As we see another 5/10 with Taunt coming out.
Alexstrasza makes me think he probably doesn't have Lord Jaraxxus, because typically you wouldn't have both of those in the same deck. And
I would totally have both of them in the same deck.
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Nah.
The original, the first lot of hand locks, many of them were playing both at once. Just gave you so much ability to just
keep
stick
healing.
it out. You just stick it out and stick it out and stick it out. Not saying that's what the guys and girls are playing these days, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. He is going to play Alexstrasza by the looks of it, gaining 2 HP advantage over his opponent, setting it down to 15 here. Is he going to trade?
I think you have to. I mean, you have to get rid of this guy. You don't
it does have to go. Are there better options?
Not really. I don't think there is any other options. There's no mana, and I mean, you could skip and then use Alexstrasza.
You could definitely wait and use Alexstrasza, which is what he's going to do here, or certainly attempt.
But in this instance, then again, you're going to be able to kill the Sludge Belcher anyway with that Ancient of War. What other options does he have available to him? He could.
I wouldn't mind double swipe Alexstrasza.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
It's not a great play,
No.
but it's something that's out there. What else have we got?
I mean, there's always Sonaris, but I don't think that's probably the best play in this situation. Could possibly play Kel'Thuzad here, because that'll respawn that Ancient of War. But it looks like Starfall here. Is it going to be the 5 damage? Yes, it is. So this is going to go for a swipe now.
Which is probably the better play than the double swipe, because there was no real advantage gained
From swiping twice.
Yeah, if there had been other minions on 2 HP instead of 1, you probably would have seen the second swipe come through. The board looks so much HP on these two characters. Go to see now. Yeah, nice gold Hellfire coming out from ImSoBrad, and Molten Giant #1 will
pop out.
Onto the board.
Alright, so what do you do here? Do you play Sonaris or do you play Sylvanas? There are a lot of options here for Danz, and it's really difficult to decide which one is actually the best option to play, because they're all pretty strong. I kind of think you can't sacrifice any more HP. You need to play a Taunter. But in this situation, I think you would have been better off playing Sonaris.
Zombie Chow, not necessarily the card that you want to be pulling at this late stage of the game.
No.
We'll see. Probably, but looks like the Molten Giant going to take out the Druid of the Claw. No, going to tap first, which is what you should always do.
Double Zombie
Chow. Yeah.
Does get a cheaper Molten Giant for his troubles, though.
He does. What's he going to do with his last 6? I wouldn't mind seeing Ancient Watcher into Defender of Argus, perhaps.
If he plays a Sun Fury Protector here and an Ancient Watcher, he could really lose the game off it. He needs to play the Defender of Argus, because he can get Danz will get one of them with the Black Knight, and then the swipe will get the other one, unless he plays Defender of Argus.
Which way is he going to go? Is he going to go left, or is he going to go right?
I think you have to shield up the Defender of Argus. Yeah. See, this way you can't get Black Knighted with your Molten Giants. And okay, so here we go.
He can lose one to swipe. He can lose one to big game.
Yeah. That's 7 mana. And then he doesn't have any other plays after that he can. I mean, he can hero power, but
I've got the beast in my sight.
I guess you kind of have to do that. Obviously, the Ancient Watcher not going to be able to attack, so really only 2 damage on the board at the moment.
Yeah. He still needs to deal with it. Shadow Flame there, actually not too bad with Ancient Watcher at all, but no real use for it at the moment. His hand is actually starting to look. Yeah, it's full of essentially dead cards here.
Yeah.
He could definitely use this on use the Iron Beak out on his own Ancient Watcher here. It's a possibility, but he is only on 9 HP, so he opens himself up to that Force of Nature play, which is pretty brutal.
I mean, it's not on the cards right now, but
no,
he doesn't know
that. No.
I think next turn for Danz, probably the Black Knight's going to come out. You clear the board and get your own minion on the board. It's quite a strong play. Zombie Chow here for ImSoBrad. It's such a difficult play because you don't know what's in your opponent's hand. They could be really decent minions on the board, but like a lot of the time at this point in the game, the Zombie Chows are just dead.
Yeah. He knows that swipe is gone. He's seen the Starfall go.
Oh, that's a perfect draw. So now he can use the full 10 mana. I think you have to Black Knight and then Tazdingo.
You can do the voice.
No, you already asked me that.
Yeah, I know.
I'm still not going to try it.
Go on again. Sonia, if you watch him, teach John the voice.
Teach me the voice, Sonia.
Please. Sonia, please. All right. So this isn't a bad board at all from Danz. It's interesting. Brad, he picked up a giant here.
It's a kind of a dead card this late.
Yeah, it's going to cost like he either needs to play it now or he's not going to play it.
Yeah. Well, he can tap and play it.
Yeah.
but does he want to sacrifice that extra 2 HP? I don't think he does, because he has no way to really clear the board. What could he do? There are the Shadow Flames. He could Shadow Flame both the zombie chows.
Healbot.
Oh, I think you have to play Healbot now that he's seen that. But then, again, you're not going to be using that Mountain Giant. Seven damage on the board at the moment for Danz.
Yeah, he wants to get rid of Taz Dingo here with his silence purely because it's actually going to allow him to make use of his zombie chows that will otherwise just buff up his opponent's HP.
Yeah.
Which is obviously something they can still do from here. What have we got? Scenarios isn't terrible. Kel'Thuzad.
I don't think there's any points of playing Kel'Thuzad at the moment.
He needs to get either these like. Obviously, there's 10 health right here on the board that he could clear out and get himself back up to 18 whilst clearing out a bit of the board.
Yeah.
But you're losing that, especially knowing that we have those Shadow Flames in his opponent's hand, which is going to make it very difficult, a very quick way to clear out your opponent's field.
Yeah, I think this is the best play. This is going to put his health back to a respectable state and going to give him quite a lot of board control. And that's not going to help too much, in all honesty. Sure, you can get rid of Sonaris, but again, there's nothing
Surely
you can
Shadow
do.
Flame Healbot from here. No, Siphon Soul.
Siphon Soul and then Shadow Flame.
Next
I'd
turn.
say. No, you Shadow Flame this
Oh, there
turn.
we go. Did not realise that the mana was still up there looking down the bottom like a noob. There you go. So that's actually turned out quite well. So much board clear available to a Warlock. It's actually ridiculous, which is why I like playing them.
Yep. Alright, so do you play Cairn here? I think you play Cairn over Sylvanas.
Well, there's nothing on the board that you want from Sylvanas, is there?
No, but he's decided to go for the Sylvanas.
I guess he's trying to defend himself from anything that his opponent may play.
Yep.
Yeah, which is essentially here... there's not much you can do. He can play the Giant, but then it opens himself up to losing the Giant straight away next turn.
Yeah.
Dr. Boom, on the other hand, would be probably fantastic.
Probably the best play that he's got now. I was going to say the only other option would be Twilight Drake, Shadow Flame, but you'd be clearing the board and then you wouldn't have any board control at all. But looks like that's the way he's actually going to go.
Yeah.
So Sylvanas not going to get anything, but now there's really nothing ImSoBrad can do against this.
And there's nothing, even if he plays, what is he going to do? He plays the Giant, he loses it to Big Game Hunter.
Yep.
He plays Dr. Boom, he loses it to Big Game Hunter.
He can't play the Giant if he plays Dr. Boom.
There we go. And this Big Game Hunter is of no use to him. At the moment, at least. Yep. So, yeah, Dr. Boom here looking like a great play, but you know it normally is a great play almost all the time. But Big Game Hunter going to make him pretty much useless here. Life totals are pretty close though, but this Can Bloodhoof, I think, is going to get a fair bit out of him, especially if we see Kel'Thuzad coming in the near future.
Would love to see the Jiraxis, if he's got it, take the extra damage from that can and then just absolutely be a rude dude and play Jiraxis. We'll have to see how this turn goes. Wild Growth. I mean, I don't even know if you would really want to use that Wild Growth here because you essentially don't want the card draw because you're getting so close to fatigue.
They are getting very close.
I think you play Kel'Thuzad and put the can into Dr. Boom. But
what does he know that is in his deck that he wants here?
I don't know. I mean, like Ragnaros maybe in this deck here. I don't know here what he's going to do. Probably the strongest play would be Druid of the Claw and Big Game Hunter. Looks like he wants to go Taz Dingo, probably keeping that utility of Druid of the Claw alive.
Yeah, definitely.
For the kill potential. It's got to be Sludge Belcher. I don't think you tap here either because he's only got 2 or something like that mana.
He's going to go for a bit of RNG favor. That didn't turn out too poorly.
No.
Sludge Belcher, again, Hero Power. Probably should have done that first, but I guess he wanted to see. Knows now with that Dark Bomb, he can pick that up. Actually, not even going to need to use the Dark Bomb onto that character. So that turned out pretty well.
Yeah.
The RNG certainly in his favor.
Ooh. I think that pretty much is going to seal the deal. That can go into a heal. He doesn't need the card draw. He can heal, use Hero Power, get rid of the Sludge Belcher, and next turn it will look like it's going to be a win for Danz, I would imagine.
Yeah, well, we'll see what he's going to do. I think he's sizing up. If he could get rid of the Sludge Belcher and bring his Khan back with like Kel'Thuzad, he'd probably go that. But Ancient of Law, the HP just going to put him beyond the reach, you would suspect, and set him up really nicely for next turn. He can also Khan Bloodhoof into the Sludge Belcher and Hero Power at the same time. No, yes, he will.
Yeah.
There we go. And that's going to be the play here. So he'll be left with a 2-1 taunt, or a 1-2 taunt, sorry. And, yeah, only one card left in his deck. Lotheb coming out now. So I don't think that's going to make any real difference here.
There's lethal here for Danz.
Have we seen Danz with any of that one? No, Force of Nature? Did he have one?
No, he hasn't had one. He may have had one in previous games. I don't think I mean, he must know what the last card in his deck is, and if it's not going to be useful, he's not going to tap, obviously. But it could save him here, at least for the next turn. But next turn is lethal for ImSoBrad, pretty much no matter what happens here. And that pretty much seals the deal, I think.
Yeah. Well, Brad has no mana left. We have our Druid of the Claw, which can turn to a 4/4 charge.
So that's, yeah.
So Khan would swing in and clear up, and then that's 9 damage straight through. Brad's trying to think through. I'm not sure what other play he's considering here, whether he swings into it. That's interesting.
Okay. No, he still has lethal because of Hero Power.
He still has Hero Power. So
that's game.
That was probably the best play. I think that was
yeah, that was probably the best play that he could make, but yeah, without knowing what that last card in his deck is, that was the best play. If it was something like an anti-killbot or something like that, it could have been quite interesting to see how the game would have turned out. But 2-2 now, all tied up. The Druid once again paying dividends for ImSoBrad. No, for Danz.
Yeah, Danz. Druid going very strong.
2 wins there in a row with the Druid, I think it was.
Yeah, Druid very, very good. Hunter good, Druid good. That's what we've learnt today, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
But I think most people probably knew that.
Probably knew that already.
Probably knew that to begin with. So, be interesting to see here what comes out as the final deck. You can pick from anything. You really do have, obviously you've used up some of your better decks, but you have the ability to be able to pick from what is remaining. You can't go and change your deck. You can't go and make a new deck. You can't side out cards. You actually need to stay within the challenge.
Yeah.
And pick from the 9 decks that you already have.
Yeah.
But other than that, you've kind of got free reign over what you want to play. Unless, of course, you fill up with like 4 different Druid decks or something and can only use one of them at a time.
I would probably say it's going to be Druid. Ramp Druid again. We've seen Brad on it. He's played really quite well on it as well. The other option maybe that we've seen coming out, Mech Mage, if he can get some good early hands, he might be able to kind of rush the game down, but it looks like they are in game. We'll have to see what's going to come out here. I mean, there's obviously Priest and Paladin as well. Paladin would be pretty good against Ramp Druid. I think you have a lot of removal available to you, and that actually does look like what Brad is going with. So here we will see how much, how well he can play this Paladin. I don't think we've seen him play it so far. And Danz, of course, on the Druid, which has got him 2 games in a row now.
We can confirm the results of our other games. We'll see Vittori took down Ethan 3-2 And Devil Dog picked up Jerd's 3-0. So Jerd's, who we were talking about before,
Yep.
Definitely had a chance to go through. He has lost that one out. Now we have Lincoln, who we saw a few games before, is still up against Silmi, who only apparently just made it into the round of 8. And obviously we are watching the fourth and final game of the fourth and final match of the round of 8. And this is the 5th game in the best of 5 series. Brad has won 2. Danz has won 2. Brad has picked Paladin into this Druid. He knows what's in the deck. He's seen the deck all the way through to the end.
Yeah.
He's probably taken down notes at home. He probably knows every single card in Dan's deck right now.
Or at least has a very good...
there were 2 cards left?
Yeah, I mean, the last one I think you could pretty safely say would have been something like Ragnaros.
Yeah.
One of them. And maybe something Force of Nature related. There was no Savage Roar, though, for Dan, so maybe not...
You can certainly play that out differently, knowing that your opponent doesn't have that one-turn kill capability that can really cause some issues when up against the Druids. So, wow, a bit of heckling in the chat there.
Sonia, be nice to Ben.
It's not very nice at all.
If you're nice to him, he'll be nice to you.
Yeah, I won't let you two get married if you guys can't get along.
Yeah, remember he's giving us a free wedding.
It's true, I am doing that. I'm such a nice guy. So we will see that the first Zombie Chow going to go down. Only 1 HP being picked up there. But you don't want to see all that on the board, do you? That's quite a bit of damage, really, that you could essentially take to the face. Sludge Belcher here. It's only turn 4, however. Leaves only 2 possibilities. Keeper of the Grove, probably not
I think you save the Keeper of the Grove here and just go for a Hero Power, kill the guy. And then Sludge Belcher next turn. But Keeper of the Grove... to remove the Divine Shield wouldn't be a terrible play either, and then you would at least have some board presence in the next turn. It will probably get cleared out by that True Silver Champion, but we'll see what happens. So it looks like he actually decided to get the 2 damage onto the Zombie Chow. And yeah, I would be very surprised if Brad here would not play that True Silver Champion. Definitely one of the top turn 4 plays, especially for a Paladin.
Especially in gold.
Yeah, especially a golden True Silver Champion. All right, here we go.
It's really a true gold champion, I guess, isn't it? It's kind of...
Well, he's not going to get the full effect of the heal. He's going to lose 1 health off it, but I'm sure he's not particularly disappointed about that.
No, he's going to clear out the board. He's going to get to swing again with that Zombie Chow. You really need to get the value out of it before your opponent gains that 5 HP back. We will see Sludge Belch potentially as our number 1 turn 5 play. Once again, going to go out here. So, in return, you do have that the Black Knight. Probably don't need to use it here. Do indeed like Piloted Shredder. So, not sure what he's going to swing through, whether he's going to use the 1-1, which he will. Perhaps clear up the other one with his 2-2, which it does. Zombie Chow getting some more damage on the board as Danz gets pushed down to 19 HP and Brad starting to find his way into the lead.
Yeah, now, what is the decision here? I don't think you can use Nourish or Wild Growth. I'm pretty sure... I mean, it's the decision here is between Starfall and Druid of the Claw. I feel like Druid of the Claw probably the stronger play, because at least it will, you'd think, get rid of the Piloted Shredder, unless Brad uses a Consecrate and the 2 small guys, but I don't think that would really be the best decision.
He's not sure himself, by the looks of it, of what he wants to actually play here.
Yeah, I think that's probably the way to go. I don't think he really had any other viable choices. Consecration may not actually be a terrible decision here, because Danz... Oh, actually, did he just top deck that? Or did
No, he had it last turn.
Oh.
We talked about whether it was of any value on a Sludge Belcher, which it was not really at all.
Yeah.
And it's ImSoBrad here. Coming back, he won his first 2 games with Hunter and lost his next 2, which leaves him in this position where his Paladin, mid-range Paladin, actually going pretty well.
Yeah, you'll have to drop this engine here and Hero Power the Zombie Chow if you want to live next turn, I'm pretty sure. I don't think there's another way around it. He can Starfall, but it's only going to remove 1. And with the Tazdingo, he could potentially take 2 hits. Having said that, there is the Consecrations available, so I think this might just be game for Danz at the moment. Unless I'm missing something.
Yeah, Dan's really trying to work through his card here. He has a Starfall, can pick up a couple, gain himself 5 HP from a Zombie Chow in the meantime, which might be what he's going to do here.
Yeah, I think he can Starfall here and then kill the piloted Shredder. It's going to take 4 to... He's going to be on 12 HP, depending on what comes out of this piloted Shredder. We could still have a game on our hands.
It's time to eject a little pilot. What will we see? Not a bad...
Not bad at all.
Yeah, not bad in the slightest. So 4-3, a 2-2 with that Divine Shield. We'll see the other piloted Shredder by the looks of things coming out here. Moving into turn 8, he has Tyrion in his hand as well. And starting to pull away here. I'm not sure what Danz can do to get this game back.
Double Senjin is going to give him pretty decent value, but 1 Consecrate. Yeah, I think double Consecrate, yeah, he's gone. There's nothing. Yeah, I mean, this is the best play he's got, but unfortunately it will not be enough.
Especially with an equality on board here.
Yeah.
Equality, he does also have the Consecration, and that is going to be GG, ladies and gentlemen. ImSoBrad sending out the well